Hello, everyone. Welcome to Excel Training for Beginners. I'm glad to have all of you join this class, which has been offered on various campuses. Now, this is a recording done online, but is exactly the same version as the live one in person on ground class. My name is An Nguyen. I am an accounting instructor, mainly on Forsyth and Barrow campus. I teach this class because I've used it or Excel pretty much every single day of my 15, 16-year working career, working for corporations including MetLife, Louis Vuitton, Integra Life Sciences, and so forth. Now, my big disclaimer here is that I'm not an Excel expert. Excel is an extremely powerful tool, a powerful software with so much capabilities, optimization, analysis, programming, automation, and so forth. And I only know a small portion, but enough, I guess, to say uh, I enough to be dangerous, I guess. For this class, you should have all received the agenda, the sheet outlining the topics that we will cover in this class to know if this class suits your needs. In addition, you should have received an Excel file, which is a work file that we will utilize for training in this class. You should have received it by email or have it downloaded from an accessible location. Along with this Excel work file, I will pass out a Word document file, which is your task file. You should have received it by email or should be able to download it from an accessible location, along with maybe where this video for your viewing is located. In the live class, the task file would be a hard copy file that I pass out to all the attendees. How this class is going to function is that you will have your work file, your Excel work file open, and you will follow along with what I do, with what you see that I do on the screen, or in the live class, it would be on the projector. The task file has numbers for each task that instructs us to complete the task. And based on the given task, you will follow along with what I do in Excel, in the Excel work file to complete the task. Okay, try to follow along exactly and try not to deviate from my guidance. Otherwise, you will or you may lose track of where we are. All right, so let's get started. Give me a moment. I'm going to share the screen. Here's the Excel work file. And here is the Word document task file. The Excel file. This is a provided file that contains pre-populated data, as you see. This pre-populated data was an extract data, extracted directly from the school's intranet. This data is called schedule by campus and schedule code, which many of you may be familiar with this data already. It contains records of all the courses offered on all the campuses. This data includes a listing of the campus, the course registration number, the course name, day and time of all the courses offered, the instructor's name, as we see here, these two columns. So we work with this raw data file, utilizing the tools, methods, and features in Excel to manipulate the raw data and produce an output, a report, basically. Along the way, we'll learn some of the capabilities of Excel that may help you with your everyday work function. All right, let's get right into it. On your task file, let's go to number 1. It asks us to rename Sheet 1 worksheet to raw data. In Excel, worksheet tabs are located at the bottom of the screen. And in this Excel workbook file, there is one pre-existing worksheet tab called Sheet 1. Right here. Place the mouse cursor on Sheet 1 tab and double click to highlight the tab name. There you go. It's highlighted. Type in the new worksheet name called Raw Data. RAW space DATA. And press the Enter key or click away from it. That completes task number 1. We'll have about 50 more or so to go. All right. We'll get through it pretty quickly, being that this is online, and I won't have much questions along the way, right? Next, number 2, create a copy of this raw data worksheet and name the newly created worksheet for schedule. That's task number 2 here. All right, how is that done? Place the mouse cursor on the raw data sheet that we just created here. Place the mouse cursor on the raw data tab and click the right mouse button. A menu pops up. Select Move or Copy. So what we see here is that we can move this worksheet, this raw data worksheet, to a new workbook. A new workbook meaning a new Excel file. By selecting the drop-down New Book here. If I select that, it's gonna create a new book, a new Excel file, and it contains that worksheet raw data in it. Or we can move it within this same workbook, meaning create a copy of it here in the same workbook, which is what we want to do. Therefore, in the drop-down box, make sure the selection displays this file name. What is this file name? LTC Excel Beginner Training Workbook. So we select that. And that was the default already. But I was just illustrating that you have other options, such as putting it in a new workbook. Or if you have other files open, other workbooks open, it will give you the choice to move and copy it to that particular workbook or file. All right, so here we're going to keep it to this workbook. So we select this workbook's file name. Next, in this move or copy window, this is a move or copy window, select move to end. Here you go, because we want the worksheet to be located at the end or the very right of the data worksheet. Here's the data worksheet, the raw data worksheet. We want it to be located here, so we select move to end. Still in the same move or copy window, check off the box for create a copy. Then click the OK button or press enter, okay? Now we see Excel generated a copy of the raw data worksheet. So we now have 2 worksheets in this workbook. We want to rename the newly copied worksheet for schedule. And we'll follow steps in number 1 to do that. Task number 3. We want to insert 2 new worksheets into this workbook. All right, click on the new sheet button to do that. Here's the new sheet button, which is a circle icon with a plus sign in the middle of the circle. It's located at the right of all the displayed worksheet tabs, right here. You will always see this to the right of all the worksheet tabs. Clicking on that, Excel inserts a new sheet to the right of all the existing worksheet with the default name sheet, in this case, sheet number 2. And if I do again, it's sheet number 3. All right. Task number 4, if you read that, it tells you to delete the last worksheet that was inserted. So sheet number 3 was the last one inserted. I want to delete that. Place the cursor on the last sheet, sheet 3 here. This is the last sheet that I had inserted. Then click the right mouse button and select delete. Okay. Now notice in this menu there are other options which we may or may not learn. We've learned insert, but we could utilize this button here that's faster, or you can right click on the sheet tab and you will see the same. So in Excel, there are usually more than one way of completing a task. I will show you the way that I usually do it. Other ways are possible. And you should, at your own time, explore other options here. So that way you would know what's available and learn more about Excel. So here I'm going to select delete. Bang. The deleted worksheet disappears and no longer exists, which means it is lost. Okay. Can I get it back? Task number 5. Move the fall schedule worksheet to be located all the way to the left. So I want this fall schedule sheet to be located on the left here. Oftentimes, you may want to do that. Rearrange it. So how do you do that? Click on the fall schedule worksheet tab. Click on that, make it active. With the mouse pointer over this fall schedule sheet tab, press and hold the left mouse button, hold it until you see the page icon displayed with the pointer. See? Drag the pointer to the left of the raw data sheet tab and release the mouse button. Excel reorders the worksheets so that the fall schedule sheet tab is now located to the left of the raw data sheet. Okay, at your own time, you can noodle around, play with it. You can move it to the right here. You see the little arrow as I drag it to the right or to the left. Okay. Task number 6. Hide the raw data sheet tab. Here's the raw data sheet tab. How do I hide it? So we do not need to use the raw data sheet tab, and we decide to hide this worksheet from view. Click the raw data sheet tab, make it active, then click the right mouse button and select hide. Hide right here. Bang, disappeared. But notice that, well, you can't really notice. Know that it actually still exists. This is different from deleting a worksheet as we did in step number 4. When it is hidden, we could always unhide it. Here we are hiding the raw data worksheet in case we ever needed the original, and this helps to maintain the integrity of the data we are working with. To unhide a hidden worksheet, place your pointer on any of these worksheet tabs, anywhere, and click the right mouse button. Select Unhide. Okay, and here we see all of the sheets that we have hidden. There's just one. If there were more, you would see it. Here's just one, and if I click on OK, I will unhide it, right? Okay, let's hide it. That's what we want. Task number 7. In the fall schedule worksheet, change the width of column G so that the texts in the column are using Autofit. So the text in the columns are visible using Autofit. Okay. So if I go here, you see the text in column G here is not visible. I want to make that visible. And I can do that by using Autofit. Go to the fall schedule sheet, which I'm already here. And on column G, I click on the header here to highlight column G. Okay, hover the pointer at the right edge of column G. So column G header, right edge is right here, you see? Until the mouse pointer becomes a double-sided arrow. Then double click. So double-sided arrow, double click. Excel adjusts the width of the column to auto fit the cell contents. All the texts in all the cells of this column, you see, are now fitted and visible in the cells. All right, so we did that for one column, but there are other columns that are not visible, meaning the text in the columns are not visible. So I want to apply AutoFit to all the columns. So I would have to select them all, right? But one way to do that is to select all. And you can select all quickly by going to this corner here, this cell or button maybe, right here at this intersection of the column header and the row header. So click on that, and that highlights all the cells, all the rows and the columns in this worksheet. Alternatively, I can use a shortcut. Let's say I did not select all, but I want to select all. So click or press the control key on your keyboard, hold it, and press on the key letter A. And that is a shortcut on the keyboard for select all. Once I have selected all, hover the pointer at the right edge of any column header, because I selected all the columns, so any column header, go to the right edge until the mouse pointer becomes a double-sided arrow, then double click. It didn't do that. Okay, let's try again. So Control A to select all. And here's my pointer at the edge of the column. There you go. I double clicked and now, oh no, it didn't apply. What happened? Let me see. I have selected all, and so let's say column R and S, as we see here, it's not auto fitted. So let's auto fit. There you go. I don't know what happened previously, but it should work every time. So in case there was some sort of minor twitch, just try it again like I did, and it should work 10 out of 10 times. So now all the contents, all the cells, columns are auto-fitted. Everything is visible. All the texts are visible now in the whole worksheet. Just this worksheet, not in the whole workbook. So there can be other worksheets. All right. Number nine. Find all the cells in the worksheet that contains the word applications. So there is an extra P here, I noticed, and an extra S. It's misspelled, basically. We want to find it using the find tool. This word is misspelled, and we need to find so that we can proceed to correct it. All right. In your worksheet in Excel, press Control F. So hold down Control and keep it held down, and also press on the F key. The Find and Replace window appears. Type in the misspelled word. It says find what? So let's find APPLICATIONSS and click on the. Okay, it found cell G152. Click Find Next again. It finds another one, G156, and keep on clicking Find Next. It will find it all. Okay, so we see how many scenarios that we had misspelled. If I click through it all, you should see that there are 5 cells that had the word applications misspelled. And we could always limit the search range. Let's say we wanted to just find it in this range. And I click on the next button, or Find Next button here. It found G8. Now, that's the Find Next button. What about the Find All? Click on that. Excel returns the search. Only one? There should be more. I think that's because I limited to the range. So let's try again. My mouse on any cell and click on Find Next. It's gonna, Find All. It's gonna search through the whole file. Oh, there it is. You see, it gives you a list of where it found all of the misspelled word applications. And you can expand this to view everything. Go to the corner here with the double arrow and stretch it out. Stretch to the right or to the bottom or diagonally. Okay. Okay, so we found all these misspelled scenarios. We want to correct all the cells containing the misspelled word applications using the Replace tool. All right, I'm going to X out here. Now recall we had done in the previous step Control F to find, but now it's Control H. And the same window appears, Find and Replace window. So let's do that with Control F. Control F. Okay, Find and Replace. Close it. Control H. Find and Replace. It's the same window. However, when you do Control H, it's gonna put you on this tab here, Replace. If you do Control F, it puts you on this tab, Find. Control H, it will put you on this tab, Replace. And then there's a Replace text box here. And by default, it had shown display what you had input before, the word applications. All right, now find what is already there, but we want to replace with, okay, in the text box here, replace with, well, put in the correct spelling. 2 P's and 1 S only. Click on Replace All. Then what do you think is going to happen? All those 5 scenarios that we found misspelled version of the word applications, it's gonna replace all of them with the correct spells one that we had indicated here. So click on Replace All, and it gives you the message, all done. We made 5 replacements. Click OK. So in one action, we corrected the 5 instances of the misspelled words that existed in the worksheet or in the search range. Okay, if we don't indicate a search range, it's gonna search through the whole worksheet. So that is a faster way of just trying to locate where the misspelled word is and then fixing it one by one individually. When should you save your work file? The best practice for saving a file is every 5 to 10 minutes. And a shortcut really quickly is click on or press down the button, the keyboard control key and the S key, control S to save. Maybe I should close that first and then control S. So that way it doesn't have that other window as being active. Okay, and it's going to save in the same location that I had opened it up from. Now, if you had opened it up from your email, let's say, then it's not located on your desktop or on your physical computer. When you hit Control S, then it's gonna have a window that appears and asks you where you want to save it. So that's the same as save as. Okay, so when you go to save as here and then browse, and it was ask you where you want to save it. Okay, step number 11, format all the cells in column A that says online. Okay, so column A here says online here, online, online. And if we scroll down, online, online, we want to highlight it with green fill color. So we can do that individually. We can do a faster way if we sort it and we'll be able to see all the online scenarios in the same space and doesn't skip, and then we can highlight it then. Or one way, a smart way if you will, is to use conditional formatting. All right, if we look at for all the cells that says online and formatted, it'll be very tedious and time consuming. Let's use conditional formatting. Select column A by placing the pointer on the column header and click the left mouse button. Actually, don't do that. Don't click on the left mouse button. Just highlight it here, click on the header to highlight it, and then under the home menu tab, which I'm already on here, all the menu items. So I'm already on the menu tab, home. Click on conditional formatting, this icon here. Click on that. Then select highlight sales rules. Highlight sales rules. Choose text that contains, right here. Click on that. A window appears. In the text box of this pop-up window, type in the text online. So by default, because my cursor was on campus, then it defaulted to search in campus, but I wanted to search for the word online. So I typed that in, and then in the drop down to the right here, so it says online with, before that it says format cells that contains the text online with, in the drop down, select green field with dark green text. And bang, you see the formatting applied to every time there is the record online. Click OK. Number 12, find out how many records are in this data set by scrolling all the way to the bottom using Control and the down arrow key. Right. So with my pointer on any cell, click on Control and the down arrow key. It jumps right to the bottom of the records. So we see how many records are here. 897 records. That means 896 courses, excluding the header. 896 courses are being offered this fall semester, at one point, that is. Find out how many rows are available in this worksheet by pressing Control down arrow again. So let's do that one more time. Control plus the down arrow, and it jumps to the very last row. So what do you see? 1,048,576. That's the row number. So over 1 million rows in this worksheet. So it's safe to say you will never run out of rows to use, okay? Let's go to task number 14. Scroll to the top of the data using Control Home. This will take you to cell A1. So let's say you are somewhere at the bottom of your file, but you want to go to the top, jump to the top. Instead of scrolling up with your mouse pointer like this, it will take longer time. If you just press down the Control key and the Home key, it jumps to A1, cell A1, very quickly. So one thing about Excel is you can be a more efficient user of Excel. And a big part of that can be utilizing the Control key or shortcuts or keyboard. It's not just the Control key, but there are other keys on the keyboard that will help you be a more efficient user of Excel. So there are Shift, aside from Control, and there's Alt as well. Okay, task number 15. What do we have to do? It says bold and underline all the column titles located on row 1. Row 1 here. That is the column name. We want to bold and underline. So in your Home tab, go to the bold, the B icon, click on that. Okay, this is in the font group. So we see here, this is the font group. And if you click on this little arrow here, it will take you to the window that provides you more options for the font. I'm going to cancel. Here we are utilizing the bold, so it's visible here. We can use it by clicking on the B, and we want to underline as well, so the U icon. Next, we want to change the height of row 1. This is task number 16. Change the height of row 1 to be 36 pixels, larger than the height of all the other rows, so that this row more visibly stands out. Okay, because this is the name of the column, we want it to stand out and have the row be bigger than the other. So change to 36 pixels. There you go. And how I did that was, I'm going to undo. This arrow here is to undo the last task, and you can undo a number of the previous tabs. Undo. Okay. So let me show you that again. With row 1 highlighted, point to the boundary at the bottom of row 1, right here. Pointer changes to a crosshair shape. And press down the left mouse button, drag the boundary down into, I get to 36 pixels. And sometimes that can be tricky to get 36. There you go. Excel changes the row height to 36 pixels or 27 points. An alternative method is to click on any cell in row 1. So let's say I'm going to undo to illustrate. So any cell on row 1 here. Then click on the format icon. Where's the format icon? Right here. Click on that. Select row height. The first one here. Row height. And then I can input row height to be 27 points. Same as 36 pixels. Click OK. And that is a more exact way of getting it done. Exact in terms of getting the exact points of pixel. Task number 17. Row 1 is a column header. What do you notice happened to row 1 when you scroll all the way down to the bottom? All right. So here's row 1. Let's see what happens when I scroll all the way to the bottom. What happened? Row 1 goes out of sight. It's not visible. Row 1, which contains the name of each column, is not visible when you scroll down and it goes out of sight. Then it is difficult to know what the data in each column represents. What is BB if you didn't know it already? And it's hard to figure out if row 1 is not visible. The column name is not visible. So what we want to do is, no matter how far we scroll down or to the right, navigate to the right, we want to always see the column names in row 1 and the course name or course registration number code in column B. Column B is the course registration code. Okay, if we scroll to the right, we always want to see the CRN number of what these records are. So how can we freeze row 1 and column B to keep them visible always as we navigate in the worksheet? Click cell C2. Here's C and here's 2, C2. Click on the View tab menu. Here's the View tab menu. Then click on the Freeze Panes icon. This action will freeze a portion of the sheet. Select Freeze. It keeps the rows above and columns to the right visible. So because we had put our pointer on C2, then everything above that and to the left of it will be freezed or frozen. Okay, this is useful for checking out the data in other parts of your worksheet without losing your headers or labels. So now if I scroll to the right, you see how A and B, the two columns to the left, are always visible. And if I scroll down, row 1 is always visible because I had freeze pane. Task number 19. I want to delete column F. This column F, integration code, because this column is not needed. Everything, all the records here is BB for Blackboard. I don't need it. So click on any cells within column F. I can highlight the whole column and right click and select delete. Or if I don't highlight it and I have my cell in the column or my pointer selecting a cell in the column, right click, delete. It's then going to ask me, what do I want to delete? Entire row, entire column. I want to delete the entire column, column F. Click OK. All right, now it's deleted. Next, task number 20, hide columns G through L. G through L. So G through L. I want to hide it. These columns are not needed at the moment, so we do not want to delete it and lose the data. We just want to not have it visible by hiding the column. Place the pointer on the column G header right here. Click and hold down the left mouse button to select column G. Then drag the mouse pointer all the way through to the left through column L to highlight the range of columns G through L. Place the pointer anywhere in the highlighted range. Click the right mouse button, select Hide. The columns disappeared from view, but remember, it still exists and could be hidden when needed at any time. And I know there are hidden columns because you see column F header, column M, so it jumped. And it has a double bar here, so that's an indication there's some hidden columns. All right, let's save your file. Best practice for saving files every 5 to 10 minutes. So press down Control S. Next, task number 21, insert a blank column after column N. Here's column N. I want to insert a blank column and name this new column to be titled Percentage Enroll. Okay, how's that done? Place the pointer on the column O header right here, because this is where we want the new column to be inserted. Click the right mouse button and select Insert. Okay, blank column is inserted. In cell O1, type in percentage enrolled. Hit enter. Okay, task 21 is done. Number 22, enter a formula in cell O2 by selecting cells to calculate the percentage enrolled. Okay, in the cell here, how do I calculate percentage enrolled? So I'm already in cell O2. I'm gonna type the equal sign. All Excel formulas start with an equal sign. Then click cell N9. Here's N9. No, not N9. I mean N2. And it has the number 9 in it. N2. Then the division sign, which is the slash on your keyboard. Then click M2. So what this formula does is N2 divided by M2, right? Enrolled divided by max enroll. Hit the enter key. Excel calculates the equation and returns, or the formula, and returns the result of the formula in cell O2 to be 0.375. We want to format this fraction as a percentage. So click the cell to highlight it, to make it active, and then click the percentage button format. And that is located in the home tab. Where's the percentage? Right here. Click on that, and it highlights changes to 38% rounded. If you want the decimal, you can utilize these arrows here to decrease decimal or to increase decimal. Task number 23. Copy and paste cell O2 all the way down to the bottom. Copy and paste cell O2 all the way down to the bottom. So a quick way to do that is make the cell active, and you see the border around it. Place a pointer to the right bottom corner of the cell border. It changes to a cross. Then double click your left mouse button. Double click. It copies the cell all the way down. This action copies and pastes both the cell reference in the formula as well as the cell format. So it copies whatever is the cell format here and the cell formula in here, it copies it down. Okay, and cell reference meaning, okay, so cell O2 is referencing N2 and M2. Well, this is 38%. If I copy it down, it should be 38%, and it should be 38% for the rest of the rows going down if I copy it down. But because it's not copying the contents, it's copying the reference. So when I go to O3, then it knows that the formula is a reference to N3 and M3, right? Because I'm going down, so it copies down the reference going down. Let's auto-fit this. Following steps from number 7, right? Autofit, so that way the title shows and all the content shows. Task number 24, we want to join the contents of columns. Am I in the right task here? Join the contents of column O and Q, it should be. In my task sheet, it says column O and P, but that's not correct. Why is not? I'm not so sure. I think I have skipped a step or two. So let me go back and see. All right. Column N and M here. Anyways, let's go to task number 24, which is join the contents of column O and column P. O and P, but that's not correct. I want to join these two columns. So it's P and Q that I want to join, right? It have the first name, Catherine, last name, Harrington. I want to join the two into one column. There might not be a need in many cases to have two columns of names. So let's insert a new column between column Q and R. So insert. You highlight these two and right click, insert. Oh no. Because I highlighted two columns, then I inserted two columns. I don't need to highlight. Let's just highlight row R and then right click and insert. Okay. In row R, cell R1, name this column instructor. In cell R2, type the equal sign, then click cell P2. Okay, and press the ampersand key, which is on key number 7, but you're not pressing key number 7. You're gonna press Shift, hold it down, and then number 7. That gives you the ampersand. And you want to join that. That is one argument. You want to join that with Q2. Okay. All right, and hit enter. Let's see what it does. Okay, it joins the two together, the first and last name. Now, Harrington, Catherine. Oftentimes, you want a comma after the last name, right? So how do I put in the comma? I have to add another argument. So we see here the two arguments P2 and Q2. Put the cursor after the P2 and add the ampersand sign. That's shift and 7. Then I want to put a comma. All right. But for a comma, I have to wrap it in quotation mark. So open quotation mark and close quotation mark. All right. So then I have three arguments, the P2, the comma in the open and close quotation mark, and Q2. Hit enter. There you go. You see it have the comma as one of the argument, and it's located after Harrington. Now, if you have a space that you want to put, that has to be in quotation mark as well. Let's say after the comma, and I spaced out a number of times, and you see it returns all those space. If I, let's say, delete my comma, it doesn't matter. The space is still in the argument. Just an FYI. Okay. So now I have R2. I want to copy down the rest. We know how to do that. Place the cursor at the bottom right of the border and double click. Copied all the way down. So now I can delete P and Q, correct? Okay, and let's do that. Highlight it, right click, delete. Look what happened. Column P shows a reference error. Why is that? Anyone know? Let's undo my last task. So I'm back to where I was before. The reason that there was an error is because this is formula driven. This column here, all these contents are formula driven, and it's referencing the other columns P and Q. So when I delete it, it's gonna return an error, a reference error. Now, to avoid this, because I have the contents that I need, I can copy and paste it as value. So this whole column, click on the header R, then anywhere in the range, right click, select copy, and then I'm pasting it in the same destination, same place. So right click and select values here. I can paste, or I can paste as formula, I can paste transpose, I can just paste as formats. But in this scenario, I want to paste as values. So click on that, values. Now click back into any of the cells, and you see it's no longer formula driven. It is its own values. Now I can go back and delete column P and Q. So highlight it, right click, and delete. So no error because these are values on its own. Next, task number 25. Copy cell R2 all the way down. Actually, we did that already. Task 26, this delete columns P and column Q using steps in number 19, and we did that already. We are actually on task number, we did 28, we did 29, we deleted columns P and Q. So we are onto task number 30, which is filter the data to report on the records of Lanier Charter Career Academy only. All right, so I have my data records here. Click on the data menu tab, data menu. Then click on the filter icon. Here's the filter icon. Click on that. And what do you see happen? Row 1, Excel read as the header, and it places this drop down arrow here, which gives us a filter on each of these columns. Okay. In column A, click the drop down arrow. We see that all the checkboxes have been checked off, right? Let's stretch this out. Go to the corner and stretch it out so we see everything. And it is all checked off, meaning that it have selected everything. However, we just want to select only Linear Charter Career Academy. So then click on select all to unselect or uncheck. Then that took away all the check marks. So it unselected everything. Click on the checkbox, select, not select, but Linear Charter Academy. Where is that? Right here, Linear Charter Academy. So that means we only selected this record or any records that is Linear Charter Career Academy. Click on OK. Okay, before that, let's save our file. Control S. As you see, the large data set now is filtered on Linear Charter Career Academy records only. So if you highlight it, and you can count 16 records, 16 courses being taught in this fall semester at Linear Charter Career Academy. All right, we want to add 2 more high schools to the filter data. So then click on the filter icon here on cell A1 again, and if need be, stretch it out to see all the data. Put the check mark on Gainesville High School right here, and North Hall High School. So 3 schools, and click on OK. Now those records have been expanded for 2 additional schools. Let's copy and paste this whole filter range. Records A1, including the header, to O880. So these whole range of records here. But let's do it using the keyboard. So let's say your mouse was anywhere on any cell. Click on Control, or not click on, but hit the Control Home key, take you to, in this case, it read C52 as the home cell because we are in the freeze pane. But if we were not under the freeze pane, it would recognize A1 as the home cell when we hit Control Home. All right. In this case, place your pointer on A1 and then press Shift, hold it down, and the Control key and the down arrow. So 3 keys. Press and hold Shift, Control, and then press the Control. Let me say that again. Hold down the Shift and the Control key, and then press down the down arrow key. So that highlights from the top to the bottom. Then let's extend this range to the right. So hold down the Shift key and the right arrow multiple times. Click on the right arrow until it reaches column O. Okay, then that is our selected range. In this case, it might be easier to highlight the range using the mouse, but oftentimes the keyboard utilization will be better. So Shift, Control down to get you down, and then put your arrow to the right. Oop, I messed up. So let's do that again. Shift, Control down. Okay, and then Shift to the right. That is my range. Then anywhere on it, right click, select copy. Is that what I want to do? See, when I go kind of off script, then I lose track of where I am and where I need to be. Let's do that again. I'm going to hit escape. That way it gets me out to where I was before. So I have this range here that I highlighted. Now I want to copy. So use the Control C. Control, hold it down and press C. That copies. Now that is a very useful method of control. Of copy is the Control C key. If you use Excel enough, you will realize that. If you're just beginner, then it will be hard for you to understand why I'm saying it's often more useful than using your mouse. Next, press Control and page down key on your keyboard, which is to your right on the keyboard, on the top right. Hold down the Control key and press page down. What it did was it moved to the next page. That's what Control page down is. It navigate to the next worksheet. So here we are on sheet 2, and automatically it's on cell A1. So that's where we want it. Then we can now paste the copy data. Press down Control and V. Copy the data. All right. Now we want to change the worksheet name, sheet 2, change it to Hall County High School, which was the first thing we did, steps in number 1. So change that to Hall County High School. All right. Now Autofit all columns in the worksheet by following steps in number 8. We are on task number 33, by the way. And what we need to do is Autofit. We know how to do that. Following steps in number 8. Task number 34, sort the data by campus and by CRN number. So here's campus, here's CRN number. Let's sort it. Under the data menu tab, where's the data? We are already in the data menu tab. Click on the sort icon. Here's the sort icon. And the sort window pops up. Excel is smart that it knows what range you want to sort, and it automatically highlights it. And there's a check mark on my data as header, so it recognizes the first row as header. If you find that's not correct, then you uncheck the mark. All right, click the add level button because we want to sort more than one column. In the first column drop down box, select campus. So here we want to select sorting by campus. Under the drop down, the order drop down box. Here's the order in the drop down box. Select A to Z. It's already pre-selected. So we want to sort by ascending order, A to Z, ascending order. In the second drop down, select CRN. So first sort by campus and then sort by CRN as the second level. Then in the order drop down, select smallest to largest if it's not already shown. Click on OK and you will see that the data sorts by column A, campus, and column B, CRN number. And so Gainesville, linear, and then North, and then under Gainesville, you see it sorts by ascending order. Task number 35. Insert 4 rows above row 1. Highlight the 4 rows, row 1 through row 4. 1 through 4. Place the pointer at the row header of the first row, which is here, and then drag down to select it. Click the right mouse button anywhere in this range that we just selected. Okay, and then insert. When we do that, 4 rows will be inserted. So that's a quick way of getting 4 rows at one time instead of inserting 1, 1, 1, and 1. Okay, number 36. Merge cells A1 through cell I2. So A1 here through I2. So we highlight that range and we want to merge it. How do we do that? Go to the Home menu tab, click the Merge and Center icon in the alignment group. Here's the alignment group, Merge and Center icon. Label the report title Hall County High School. So click on here and type in Hall, capital Hall, County High Schools. Okay, enter or click away. Format the report title middle align 20-inch font. So click on that range that has been merged. Middle align. Is it this one? No, that's center. This is middle align. Align text so that it is centered between the top and bottom of the cell. There you go. Font size. So in the drop down here, select 20. Task number 38. Label cell E3 Fall Semester 2021 and center the content. Did we skip a step? Okay. No, we did not. So let's go to cell E3. Where's E3? Here. Oh, okay. Label cell E3 Fall Semester 2021. Okay. Then we want to center. So see how it's screwed to one side. So let's center right here, this icon, center. All right. Task number 39. Put a top and thick bottom border on cell range A3 to I3 for format and appearance of the report. A3 to I3. So we highlight that and click in the font group, top and thick bottom border. Select that. Beginning to look nice, right? The formatting for appearance to be nice looking, good presentation. Select cells A3 to A3. That's what I have in my notes here, but that's actually A1 to A3 to I3. We did that. Okay, I lost my spot where I was. Okay, step 40. Center the contents in columns C, D, E, G, and H. Okay, C, D, E, and H. So if they were adjacent, I could just highlight it, but since these are not, only C, D, E, and now H. How do I select H? So after highlighting the 3 adjacent columns, press and hold Control, the Control key, and then click on H. To center the contents in the alignment group, right here, click on the center icon. This. Aha, I think that looks better in appearance when you center it. Task number 41, input a comment in cell B8 and cell B9. So B8 right here and B9. We want to indicate that these two courses are taught by instructor Betty Young. Okay, click cell B8 and right-click the mouse button. From the pop-up menu, select Insert Comment, and then type in the text, Instructor Betty Young. Okay, enter. Okay, enter doesn't escape you from the comment. You got to click away. Then click on cell B9. This time on cell B9, press Shift F2. Shift F2. That is the shortcut for inputting the comment. And let's input the same comment. Instructor Betty Young. Okay, click away. So we have indication that these are comments. When we hover over them, the comment shows up. It pops up for us to see. Let's say we want to show the comment in cell B8. So click on cell B8, then right-click the mouse button, select Show Comments, like that. See? And we can move the comments. We can make the comment box bigger or smaller, and we can move it to a different location with the crosshair icon here at the border. Click on that, drag it to a location. Task number 44, we want to calculate the, actually before that, it's 43. Calculate the total enrolled in cell H33, right here, H33, total enrolled. We want to total up this column. And we can do that quickly by using Autosum. Under the Home menu tab, which we are already on, click on the Autosum. Here's the Autosum. Click on that. Your cell must be active on the one that you want to Autosum. So click on that. And you see how it displays the sum formula in the range H6 to H32. If that is correct, then you hit enter. And it will show you the sum. 262 students in Hall County High Schools. So let me undo that and illustrate that you can change the range when you are in this step. You can, if this is not the right range, you can then highlight the correct range. You see? Most of the time it's correct, but not all the time. So when we here, enter, and it returns 262. In cell A33, is A33, type the text total enrolled. So that is the label for this cell H262. That is the total enrolled. Next, calculate the average enrolled per class in cell H34. So H34, type equal sign, press the tab key, no, actually equal sign, and then we want to use the average formula. So we have to begin typing the word average. A, and then we see all these choices for formulas that begins with A, but we want to continue to type V, And here you see average deviation, average A. We want average, so we can click on average here, or we could continue to type E and then R, then average becomes the top choice. So at this point, we want the top choice. We can hit the tab key on the keyboard, tab, and it selects average as the formula here. And then we need to input the argument for this formula. What are we averaging? Well, we have to click on the range, which is H6 and H31. And you see it's missing the close parentheses, but Excel is going to know. We can just hit enter at this point, and it returns the average. So I was showing the two methods where here for the total enroll, I click on the sum, or if you type in the formula equal SUM and then hit the tab key, and then you highlight the range, and you can highlight the actual range here, it doesn't matter. Then hit enter. It does the sum formula, but it's faster if you just click on that and hit enter. I was illustrating both ways that you can do the formula. And in cell A34, what is this? Average enroll. So type the text average enroll. Format cell A33 and H33 with bold and italic. So we can highlight this, or you can click on that and then press the control key, then click on this cell, then you select both, and we want to format bold and italicize. Okay, click away. Now we also want to format A34 and H34. So we can copy the format of A33 and H33 to A34 and H34. A quick way is to select the whole range right here, place the pointer on the cell, and then just drag it to select it. Then click on the format painter here, this icon, click on that. So that copies the format, and where do we want to paste it? Paste it here on cell A34. It's gonna paste the format of the whole range that we had copied. There you go. You see it formatted all the way to H34. Control S to save this, so that way we don't lose our work. Okay. This number here, we can let's put it to whole number. It makes sense that way. So increase or decrease for decimal, decrease decimal, click on that a number of times until you reach the whole number. All right, let's apply freeze pane to rows 1 through 5. You want to freeze pane all of that. So click cell A6. Under the view menu tab, click the freeze pane icon, and then select the first one. Notice that you can freeze top pane, freeze first pane. Here it's freezing both. All right, now we scroll. What happened? Row 1 is not visible. So let me undo. Or unfreeze. Click on freeze pane, unfreeze. Okay. All right, now let's do that again. B6 and then click on freeze pane. There you go. All right, task number 49, print preview. We are ready to print, so let's print preview. A quick way is Control and then F2. Obviously, an alternative method. So let me go back. An alternative method is File and then Print. Okay, but here it's Control F2 as a shortcut. If the print preview looks good, we want to print it. Then Control P. In this case, doesn't look so good. Actually awful because the header is cut off and it unnecessarily prints on 2 pages. We will change that shortly. So click on the back arrow. That was just print preview. Let's edit the page setup to print with grid lines, row and column headings, comments as displayed on the worksheet. Let's also print with the file path and file name in the footer. Also add page number in the header. That is task number 50. This is where we are on right now. Go to the page layout menu tab. Here's page layout menu tab. Click the little arrow at the corner of the page setup. Click the sheet tab. Here you go. Check the boxes for grid lines. Okay, we want grid lines. We want row and column headers. And then in the comments drop-down box, we want as displayed on the sheet. So when it prints out, it's going to print the comments as displayed like that. Next, click on the header footer tab. Click on custom footer. This custom header, custom footer. In the left section input box right here, it's default to the left section input box as the active box. Click the folder icon, insert file path. So now the report will be printed with the path of the file location where you had saved it. Let's go to the center section input box. Click on Excel file name, this icon here. So the name of this file is going to be shown when you print it. And in the right section input box, we want to insert the date icon and the time icon. So where is that? That's right here. Insert date, insert time. This will give us a timestamp. When we print it, it gives us a timestamp. Then still on this header footer tab, click on the, actually click OK. We want custom header. In the right input box, before it was the footer, now it's the header. Click on the page icon. Here it is. Insert page number. We want a page number at the top right of the report. All right, click on OK. And let's print preview from here. So we see the way that it's going to be printed with what we had selected. Let's click the back arrow. We are back to the report. Let's do page break preview. In the view menu tab, here you go, view menu tab, we can go to, we are currently on normal view. We can select page break preview to see where the page break is. So when we saw the print preview, we noticed that it's cut off page 1 and page 2. And in page break preview here, we can see page 1, page 2, how it's gonna print. And we can change the page break from here. These blue lines, this one, we click on it, drag it to the right. Then you see that it's gonna be only page 1. Before it was page 1 and 2. So let me show that again. Undo, and then you see before page 1, page 2, that's how it's gonna print. But I want it to print on one page, so I can change the page break here. And it's gonna print exactly like this on one page. So I can print from here by pressing Control P, or go back to the normal view, click on this icon, and I'm back to my report, the view I was before, and I can print from here. But always remember, save your file, Control S, and this is your report. And you can actually see the page break here. It cuts off with this dotted line here. And if I go all the way to the bottom, not all the way, but down to the bottom here, and I can see that the dotted line, and I know that is my page break, and this is going to print on one page. Now, to close, you can click on Alt F4 to close. Alt F4, close. So I saved it already. It's okay for me to then close it. And that's it. I hope you all enjoyed the class, was able to find it useful. At the very least, learn a few things, got a few tips, shortcuts, whatnot, that will enhance your utility of Excel. The thing about Excel is you use it or you lose it. I hope all you have a great day. Take care. Actually, just one additional comment is, if you like what you learned, what you got exposed to, try to review it. Be disciplined with practicing it, okay? And I'm available if you have questions about Excel, you need help with anything, I'm here for you. Feel free to reach out to me. Take care. Bye-bye.